So we needed a win yesterday and we got a win. Performance be down. And yesterday was kind of a continuation of what the month of April has been for us. And it's not even like we played poorly. The game yesterday was decent. We did enough to win the game. And I don't think there's going to be enough going forward, like going into the next 4 games in the league, the next 2, hopefully 3 Champions League games. We need to like do better than we did yesterday. Just kind of playing within ourselves. Because it felt like last week Arteta took off the handbrake in the sense that we were more free-flowing. Even when not being our best, we did more in attacking compared to what we did yesterday. But as soon as we got the goal, I think we just kind of played within ourselves and tried to see the game through. Like we've done for most of the season, to be honest. The goal came from a set piece, which we've been kind of lacking in recent weeks. There was a point in time where for any set piece or corner kick we had, like opponent fans was kind of scared. The Emirates or every Arsenal fan were kind of excited to like get a set piece, knowing that we could do damage from it. We've not really done a lot, or we've not really scored a lot from set piece for like weeks now. And even the goal was not from our traditional Saka or Rice crossing the ball in with Gabriel, either scoring directly or knocking the ball back for someone else to score. It came from us going short, in which we did 3 times. Again, I don't know how much you can really change within the game span, but I kind of expected Newcastle to like do something to prevent that. Because when we saw it the first time, we were like, oh, we're trying something new. Again, it makes sense to try something new because we've not been good when we go along the recent weeks. But we did it the first time, it didn't work. We did it the second time, Messi got a short out of it. So I was like, okay, this is done. There's no way we're going to do this for the third time and what's going to work. But that was what happened. We did it again for the third time. Although we kind of tweaked the beat by going to Zubimendi before then going to Eze. So it changed a bit, but it was still the same idea. And thankfully, they couldn't do much about it. And Eze scored a great goal. I think, according to the commentator yesterday, that was like the goal yesterday took him to double digits. So I assume that he scored 10 goals in the league. For someone that I've not been fully impressed with, because for the first half of the season, he kind of struggled, and that makes a lot of sense. Going from Crystal Palace to a better team with more expectation and more pressure in Arsenal, you probably need time to adapt your game in a way. And after the mistake he did with Villa and Arteta not playing him for a while, we didn't necessarily get to see him. So whatever progress he made within those first set of games he got before the Villa game, he kind of lost it because he was away from the team. So when he came back, it still took him a while. But just like I said in my previous video with Gyökeres, Eze has been very good for most of this year. He hasn't been that impressive, like he hasn't been super great, but he has done enough to kind of redeem the fate that some of us were lacking in him. So the goal yesterday was great because without some of his goals, I don't know where we would be. To be honest, after the changes last week, where we had Eze, Odegaard and Kai Havertz in the team, I was expecting us to build upon last week's performance and take it further. But for some reason, I feel like as soon as we scored that goal, we kind of just went back to playing within ourselves, which has been the story for most of the season. We tried to do the good things. We tried to do the things we were very good at as well as we could. The defense was intact. The midfield was non-existent. I mean, Zubimendi had a good game yesterday, to be fair. Like, again, good game here is relative when compared to what he's been doing in previous week. It wasn't bad in any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't also like super great, but he did well enough just without what we need him to do when it comes to progressing the ball. Less said about Declan Rice the better, because that's not even true, because I need to speak on Declan Rice. For the past 4 or 5 games, we've been hearing things like, at the end of the game, against City, we heard him say to Odegaard, it's not over. We've heard him say we need to do more. He was giving the captaincy for like a beat, and everybody was like, hey, that's the leader we need, and blah, 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 blah. But in this stretch of games going all the way back to the Carabao Cup final against City, I can't tell you one game where Declan Rice has stepped up. And it's becoming frustrating where we play a game, we don't necessarily do well enough. And you come online and you hear people say, Declan Rice had a good game, or Declan Rice is this, or Declan Rice is that. And I'm like, this is our marquee signing. We spent the most on any player we've ever spent on Declan Rice. We talk about him in the breadth of players like Rodri. We call him this, we call him world class, we call him that. And in the games we play, we still almost get dominated in the midfield. It's like people just play through us most of the time. And I'm like, if you are this good, or if people say you're this good, we need to see more of your influence. And the thing with Rice is, he has some of these games and then he has a good game and everybody judge him based on that good game, ignoring the fact that the last time he had a good game was about 4 or 5 games away. He kind of gets away with a lot of things among the fan base, but I kind of understand too, because Declan Rice is not the problem. We have a lot of issues before we come to Declan Rice, so I can understand. But it's easy for us to talk bad about Odegaard. It's easy for us to shit on Zubimendi. But for some reason, Rice keeps getting away with these poor performances. All of this is to say that Rice was poor yesterday. Zubimendi was alright. Odegaard it wasn't bad. It wasn't also great. But you could see the good things that we expect from Odegaard for most of the time. He did well. He linked up play in a bit. He made some passes, even though some of them did not go how we wanted it. The point is, he tried playing forward. He didn't really play within himself or do that thing where he slowed the game down. Though there was one opportunity where Kai was like, I think it was a breakthrough and Karabatic was running straight into the other half of the opponent. Odegaard could have released that ball early and it should have been Kai, I think against Botman, or even if it was Danburn. I know Danburn is quicker than Botman. With Kai already in his sprint and like ahead of speed, it would have just been like, he would have broken away from the defense, if that makes any sense. But Odegaard delayed on the pass. He also did something else I can't correctly remember. There were like 2 instances where he could have done better, but that was one I can't remember at the moment. He didn't have a bad game, so that's the midfield. But then if we go to the defense, which has been the best part of our season, if you think about it. Saliba wasn't at his best yesterday, but he wasn't also poor. Gabriel was back to being the Gabriel we know. He didn't really get to do so much, but everything he did, he kind of did it well. He wasn't caught lacking compared to what we had from Saliba. I'm not saying Saliba had a bad game, but you kind of get the gist of it. If you saw the game, you would know that he wasn't at his best, especially with the ball on his feet. I was watching the Lewis Cannon episode a while ago where I can't remember his name again, but even watched this Cannon podcast, he would kind of where Jordan was like, he brought up 2 instances, and one of them was how we kind of overestimate Saliba on the ball. He looks steady when you compare him to a Gabriel, but what does he really do with his ball? He's good with moving the ball until he gets like close and he kind of gets short of options. But aside from that, when he moves the ball, he's good with carrying the ball, if that makes any sense. He's comfortable. He can almost beat him one on a dribble, but when he gets crowded, he doesn't really know what to do. And his passes are not as great as, say, like a Van Dijk or even a Konate. Like, I've seen Konate make more line-breaking passes this season than I've seen of Saliba. And I barely watched Liverpool's game. Like, I would see the whole Liverpool game here and there, but I watched almost all Saliba games, and his passes, or for someone who gets the ball as much as he does, his talent to the ball needs a bit more work to get him to that level of, say, a Van Dijk. He's comfortably better than Gabriel, but we know that Gabriel makes up for this with every other thing he does. His strength is not on the ball. Saliba's strength is a bit on the ball, and him just being one of the best defenders in the world. My point being, for as much as him and Gabriel tend to spend time on the ball, we could get more from it, but I understand ideally they would not have as many touches as they do if the midfield, especially Zubimendi and White, were progressing the ball higher rather than going back to them. So all of these again is to say that Saliba had a decent game in a sense. You also give him a rating, it'd probably be like a 6 over 10. Gabi probably 7 because he didn't really do anything bad that I can remember at the moment. Reece White, we kind of know what we get at this point in time. Basically anything you get from White that is positive, you just take it. Because at this point in time, I feel like we've moved so far away from what Benjamin White can give us, which is a sad thing to say. Because 3 seasons ago, we were almost saying that this is one of the best right back in the league, but injuries has kind of taken a toll on his body and he's not as good as he used to be. Obviously, there should be an upgrade next season, but he did decently enough. He wasn't bad. He wasn't good. He was worse than Saliba, but I feel bad for White, if that makes any sense. Then we go to the man of the match, in my opinion, which was Nkapé. Nkapé was great yesterday. I don't think it was beaten at any point in time. He based on what I can remember, he won all of these deals and he played great. Nkapé has been great for most of the year, but the Carabao Cup final where Semenyo kind of had his number, again, people would make the argument that the yellow card kind of prevented what he could do with regards to him marking Semenyo, because we know how Nkapé plays. He's a bit physical. He gets close to you. He stops you before you even start to make your runs or your dribble or your play. Him on that yellow card, he couldn't do so much. So Semenyo had a bit more joy against him. But aside from that, maybe the Aston Villa mistake where he considered a showing that led to them scoring and the 2-1 loss to them. There's just a few scenarios or games where I can think of Nkapé maybe costing us. Aside from that, he tends to play very great. I'm so happy that we would be getting him because we do not get to see Calafiori as much as I want. So the defense was great. The double pivot in midfield was decent. Odegaard was decent. Kai picking up an injury was pretty much sad to see because in my previous video I was a bit high on what Kyaba could bring to us, because like him or hate him, he brings more to the team than Gyökeres does. If you look at their entire game as a package, but him picking up an injury was very sad. I hope he's more precautionary than a long-term injury. Gyökeres coming into the game did not really do anything wrong. At this point in time, it's whatever you get from Gyökeres, just take it. He's one of them players that should never have been signed to play for Arsenal, but he's one of us. We kind of take good and the bad with him, but it was more mid than anything yesterday. Noni Madueke, my guy, where do I go from there? It wasn't good yesterday. I do feel that he's playing with a knock. I think he's injured. I think he's not been 100% since the international break, because I can't think of any good game he's had since he came back from the international break. Prior to that, you get the occasional one good game in like 3 games, 2 good games in like 5-6 games. But since he came back from the international break, he's just been very poor. He can't beat a man. If he does beat a man, he tends to make the wrong decision, which has been part of his game for as long as we can remember him. Again, for 55 million, we could have done better, but this is what we have. I'm just glad that Saka is back into the team, and I'm hoping that he can just stay fit to end the season. Regardless, a good Saka, a mid Saka is still better than Madueke. Eze being subbed about the 50-something minutes yesterday was a bit worrying to me. I really am hoping that it's just more of a precaution. I was looking ahead to the game against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday, if I'm not wrong. Yesterday, I saw some of their games against Atletico Bilbao, the game where they won 3-2, just to do some form of scouting to see what we could be expecting. He's been known for a while that they are not as good as they used to be defensively. They've got more technical players in their team, so they're better going forward than they are defending. It's like Simone made a 180 turn where they used to be this great defensive team to where they are now has more of an attacking team or a team finding a new identity to play from. They just have so many of these technical players from Barrios to Griezmann to Baena or how's I'll probably pronouncing his name wrong, but these guys were good yesterday in the sense that going forward they were great. Solot could link up play with everyone around him. Again, there was this argument me and some of these guys were having at the start of the season where we were talking about Solot and Gyökeres, trying to make a case for Gyökeres being better. I'm sorry, if you give me both of them today, I'm picking Solot before I pick Gyökeres. He's just better on the ball than Gyökeres. He does every little thing better than Gyökeres, and he also looks quick for someone of his size. So I don't know if he's going to start the game because Alvarez did not start the game yesterday. So I'm assuming the likes of Lookman and Alvarez have been rested ahead of the game on Wednesday. Again, I'm thinking the game is on Wednesday, but for some reason I'm also thinking it's on Tuesday. Basically, they're looking at the game against Arsenal and trying to wear some of their players. But I do believe that if we keep our defense as well as, even if we play as how we played yesterday, as mid as we played yesterday, I don't think we're going to lose to them at all. My issue is with our attack turning up and making that game and taking the game to them because I feel like we can win them across both legs. I would ideally not like us to concede early or be down at any point in the future because as much as I said their identity now is more attacking, they are still a Simeone team that can defend. So ideally, I hope we do not concede to them before we score, if that makes any sense, because we are not good at coming back from a goal down or making any sort of comebacks. Anyways, yesterday was more about the points than the performance. We need all the 3 points we can get, but we need more goals. We need the offense and the midfield creating rather than depending on set piece, which we have been doing forever. Set piece and our defense has carried us more than any other aspect of our team this year, and it's a bit sad, but it is where we are at this point in time.